Okay, I am live and I see a couple of comments. I know that I've ignored them up to this point. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to try, I think, and kind of make the live stream thing sort of a weekly thing on Thursdays. I think that's what I'm going to try. We'll see how long it lasts for. Of course, this is GotBot Goes Live, and this is, I guess, technically my second episode. Of course, I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, you know what I'm getting, don't you? Nope. There we go. Hit the little notification bell when you get the opportunity. Now, I may also end up changing the camera that I'm using now. We'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm still in the process of learning this. So you know what, guys, like bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to try and, of course, get to the comments. I do have sort of an outline of some things that I want to cover here tonight. First and foremost, happy Canada Day to everyone in Canada. Happy 4th of July to everyone in the U.S. I'm not sure what or if there are any other kind of celebratory national birthdays going on around this time of year or not. But I know it's a busy week in Canada and a busy week in the U.S. So what can I say? Happy Canada Day. Happy 4th of July to each and every one of you. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Give me a little bit of your time. Like I said, we're going to try and get through a few things here that I have that I'd like to discuss. Let me just sort of check in over here on the side for a moment. Let's see. Hey, Geek. It's up to you, brother. I'm in the call now, so might join later. Fair enough. Hey, Dragonfly. One of my favorite guys. Haven't seen you in a long time, buddy. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time, buddy. I'm so glad that you're back around. I was just thinking about you the other day. I can't remember why, but I was just thinking about you the other day. Hope everything is well with you, man. Hope everything is going dandy in your part of the world. Now, speaking of things going dandy, things are going swimmingly well in my life and my little part of the world. For those of you unaware, although I think most people are aware by now, something momentous in my life, my family's life, sort of happened over the weekend. On June the 30th, Starscream fiance became Starscream wife. It was an intimate little family affair, although I think the social media life of it has taken on a bigger life than the actual ceremony, than the actual wedding did. It was a very heartfelt, sort of emotional time, but you'd have to know us. There were a lot of laughs. There were a lot of smiles. There was a lot of rushing around, but it was great to be able to share that with our family. That being said, believe it or not, there's actually some items coming out of that I'm going to be reviewing. Yes, believe it or not, there were 3 things that I was wearing. 3 things that I was wearing and one other thing. The one other thing, I've sort of put some pictures up around on various social media outlets, we'll say. But you guys will see it all probably this coming week, but that's not the only thing that I'm planning on reviewing this week. You see, I have some like odds and ends there, and that's what I'll do that as, odds and ends thing. I also want to take a look this upcoming week at Greenlight, who finally showed up. Here she is. Happy to have her. Initially ordered her back in January, and one of the last guys to get her. Go figure, but I'm very, very, very happy to have her. And Dazzlestrike, I suppose. That being said, I mentioned last week that there was something about her that bothered me, and that's kind of strange, I suppose, compared to the other uses of the mold. We are also going to see kind of how the Elita Infinite, I think it's called, combiner is sort of shaping up. Stick around. I'll, of course, be talking about all of that. I also, this week, plan to take a look at this little guy. This little guy is not Fire Drive like you might think it is, though it is a repainted Fire Drive. I've done some work with this guy to make him into Nebulon, or a version of Nightstick, if you will, to go with the Selects Ricochet. So we'll look at what I did there coming up this week as well. This week, I'm going to be taking part in the Holy Grail Challenge. And this was one that was started by a good friend of the channel, Masterfire, who is also voicing Bruticus in Universal Collision Season 2. And I find this one a challenge that's very difficult for me to do because my Holy Grail keeps changing. So we'll see how I handle that going forward. I'm really not sure how I'm going to handle it, to be honest with you. I'm sort of excited to see that as well. Speaking of Universal Collision, I have said that the premiere will be in July. It will be in July. I did not specify if it will be early July or if it will be late July. Right now, I'm leaving that sort of open-ended. However, I do definitely plan at least one more trailer before we start the season. And probably a few little sneak peeks. You might see them around. If you know my other social media, you might see them around there. I do have some top 10 lists coming up that I plan to work on, such as top 10 trios, top 10 overrated figures, at least in my collection. A collection tour is up and coming. So there's a lot of stuff up and coming. By the way, I recently did the channel restart challenge. That was fun to do. That was started by Ninja Bill. And I hear the Tatamus and the Tatamus Prime and the Collector 75 are going to possibly be doing some sort of a conjoint channel restart video. I would love to see that, because I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Graham's first video was about a Dalek, and I'm also a huge Doctor Who fan. 11 Sonic Screwdriver, 12 Sonic Screwdriver. And Starscream Wife has 10s, because that's her doctor, and River Songs. So we have a bunch of them. There's a few Doctor Who items kicking around here. I'm just going to check in with the comments here for a second before we go on here. Let's see. Kyle, you're my biggest fan. Hey, buddy. What can I say? Thanks. I'm not gonna argue it. Let's see. Dragonfly, just been nuts. Are you going to be doing Ectotron? Congrats. Dragonfly already did Ectotron, buddy. He's already up on the channel. If you go back a few episodes, he is already here and done. I love the guy. I think it's a great use of that hotspot onslaught mold. Plus Slimer, man. Slimer. So yeah, I already did him if you go back a little bit. I think a lot of people ended up getting Greenlight. When she was first put up, she was pretty expensive, but she was a much more palatable price tag later on. And I'm going to sort of talk about whether or not that's good, or like whether that was a good enough price or not a little bit later on. She will get a guilty or innocent verdict because she is a Siege figure. And now that we have some quintessons, I think the guilty and innocent verdict is about to become a lot more interesting. I can say this. I'm also planning to do a new episode of Cybertron Tonight with Springer. The quintessons are at least one of the scheduled guests on that show. I'm not sure when that will come out. Like I said, I have to sort of prioritize things, but there's a lot of stuff coming up. Let's see. Hey, Zachamus. Again, for anybody who is unaware, Zachamus Prime is going to be voicing Perceptor. I'm not sure who else I'm going to get him to voice. He's going to definitely be voicing Perceptor in season 2 of Universal Collision, unless something changes. But that's the plan, right, man? That's the plan. Zachamus, Perceptor, right? Let's see. The Seeker Skywarps, what's up? Hey, Seeker Skywarp. As far as I could tell, I don't know if I've seen you comment on anything before, so I'm extra glad to see you joining us. Abdullah, David K. Yes. TF Fan Geek, so good to have you. Dragonfly, still waiting on your Ectotron. Yeah, that was that was one figure that we actually got early in Canada. Now, that being said, you say you're waiting on your Ectotron. That brings me to another topic that I wanted to discuss here. And I just want to get to these other two comments before I discuss this topic, because it has actually caused a little bit of controversy. And I want to address that. Yes, Zach was just confirming that he is Perceptor, of course. Okay, so I just want to kind of see where I'm to here. Yeah, and this is really the last topic that I really kind of want to cover. So we'll sort of open it up. If you guys have any questions or anything that you're curious about, ask away. But we just this week in my neck of the woods started getting the Wave 2 Voyagers for the Siege line. That being Voyager class Starscream and Voyager class Soundwave. Now, I ordered mine from Amazon a little while ago. And as these have just started to trickle in here, both at Walmart and EB Games, every single one of those stores in my area received one case, which means all of those stores had one Soundwave and one Starscream. Not multiples, not a bunch on the shelf, one of each. Okay? That's important to note for the story. I went to one of those stores, and when I went in, I discovered what I like to call Soundscream. And if you, again, have followed me on any of my other social media, then you've probably seen the picture, and it is a Siege Starscream in a Soundwave box. Now, a few things to note here. Normally, I would be the first one that would say, hey, that was probably somebody who changed out a Starscream into a Soundwave box. Why they would do that from one Siege figure to another, I don't know. Usually when you see that happen, it happens with old figures. I have never personally seen it happen around here. Never, ever, not once have I ever seen it. But I've seen it happen with other people. I note this for a couple of reasons, a couple of things that made it unique. First, it was a Siege figure to a Siege figure box. Same size class even. Secondly, it was Starscream still strapped into his plastic clamshell. It's not like he was put in Soundwave's clamshell. It was Starscream's clamshell. All the plastic ties were there. He was sealed. As well, the box had a single piece of tape on it. It's not like the tape had been cut. There was no kind of tearing on the box. It was just a taped edge on both sides. One piece of tape on both sides. Let's see. Oh, and here's the kicker. I saw the clerk in the store open up a factory sealed case and take these two out. Yet, as I've posted this around, I've had ever so many people say, that must have been a change. Somebody switched them out. Look, I understand the whole idea of switching out a figure, but I ask you, and I'm not experienced in this, so I actually am legitimately asking you guys, is it likely that somebody switched out the figure, put it back in the box without having to retape it, and managed to get it back into a factory sealed case and reseal that case so that it looked like it had never been opened? To me, that seems unlikely. To me, it seems like this was probably a packaging error from the factory, which I've also never actually seen. So it stood out to me as very interesting for that. I put it up because I thought it was quirky. I thought it was funny. And everybody says, it's a switch. No, it's not. Am I crazy? Could that have been a switch in a factory sealed case? I don't think so. Let's see what you guys got to say about it. That. Maybe you guys got nothing to say about it. I'm just saying, like, I didn't see it, and I didn't, like, if it had been not sealed, if it had been retaped, I could have seen it. A lot of people said, oh, they probably just changed them out in the store. No, you didn't, because every store had one Soundwave and one Starscream. They did not change it out in the store because they didn't have the actual physical numbers there to change it out in the store. It's not physically possible. But yet people argue with me, black and blue, and have said to me, hey, you don't need to insult me because I said it was a switch. You got to be right. It's not that I got to be right. It's that I don't understand how a scammer could be a magician. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, guys. Which Optimus Prime do you prefer? 2000 overgrown human? What? Overgrown human Optimus Prime? Say 2007 because I know what he looks like. I don't know what overgrown human Optimus Prime is. Let's see. I've heard of the mess up on the two figures. It was from the fact. Thank you, Dragonfly. It was from the factory. A couple of people have also said that they heard about this. So I'm not crazy, right? There was a packaging mess up. Mine that I ordered was fine, and all of the other ones I've seen were fine, but I just found it funny when I saw that this was Soundwave on it, so I done the whole identity crisis thing. Actually, if you look on my community tab, I think the image is there as well, if I'm not mistaken. Transformers Prime Ratchet would say highly unlikely on the Starscream. Yeah, for Optimus Prime. I'm not, Zachamus, I'm not a huge fan of the Age of Extinction Last Night Optimus. The whole night thing, it's not for me. It's not my thing, man. It's not my jam. That's all. It's not my jam. Do you plan on getting the Battle Master? I absolutely do plan on getting the Battle Masters, Caliburst, and Smashdown. Interesting you bring that up, because here's the other thing. While those two Deluxes or Voyagers just showed up here, there have also been several reports, because when a lot of people in the US especially started seeing the Wave 3 figures, especially the Deluxes and Springer pop up, I said then on a lot of forums, oh, I guess it'll be October before we see them here. And then I started to hear reports that EB Games across Canada are putting out the 3 Deluxes and Springer and the Battle Masters and the Micro Masters, the Wave 3 Battle Masters and the Wave 3 Micro Masters. So they could arrive sooner. That being said, those same EB Games were putting out the Wave 2 figures as early as February and March, and we only got them this week, Tuesday to be specific. So, but you never know. Maybe we'll luck out. Maybe distribution will improve and I'll get them sooner than later. But I absolutely do plan to get them. Do I necessarily plan to keep them and replace what's in my collection? Well, with the Battle Masters, absolutely, I'm keeping them. With the Red Alert, we'll see. With Brunt, absolutely. With Reflector, I don't know. I'm thinking I might keep my Perfect Effect. We'll see how that goes. And with Springer, I really need to compare the two Springers side by side. I also have ordered and coming Siege Jetfire, who I'm going to do a detailed comparison next to the earlier generations later class 1. And we'll see a lot of size comparisons. You'll be able to decide what scale works best for you in your collection. I'm not even sold on which one is going to work best for me in my collection yet. I guess we'll wait and see. Let's see. What do we have here? Hold on. Oh, the overgrown human Optimus. I got you, Zachamus. I understand what you're saying. You're saying the night version is the overgrown human Optimus. I got you, buddy. What is your opinion on the Transformers reboot? I'm going to be ordering. Yeah, I had to order Jetfire because he was on sale up here, pre-order, but it made the price actually cheaper than what the regular retail price is in the US. And I was like, oh, you know what? I can't pass that up. When I done the conversion, it was cheaper. Now, what do I think about the reboot? By the reboot, I assume you mean the Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy series. I am very excited about that, because Polygon is doing the artwork for it. Polygon did Transformers Prime. I wish that the showrunners were going to be the same people that did Prime, because I thought that show was brilliant. The showrunners, from my understanding, are going to be a mix of people that worked on, I believe believe Cyberverse and the Combiner Wars, Titans Return, Power of the Primes Machinima series. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they can do with a full series. I will say this, though. I do have hope because when Netflix produces a series, they don't usually back something unless it's going to be done well. Let's see. Yeah, Zachamus, I know exactly what you meant, buddy. So that's kind of everything that I wanted to cover. Married, Starscream fiance will now be Starscream wife going forward. A few Transformers things coming out of that. It was a beautiful day, fantastic weather. Kind of what's coming up this week with Greenlight and our little battle, like Nebulon. There you go. Our little Nebulon here. Hopefully some Wave 3 stuff. We'll see what happens. The leader class Galaxy upgrade Optimus Prime, the Cybertron Optimus one, is also just arriving this week. I doubt I'm going to get a chance to cover that unless I can get it off somebody. It's not for me personally. It's not for my collection personally. So we'll see what happens there. Holy Grail challenge coming up. Definitely a lot of stop motion stuff coming up. Also a tutorial coming up. I was asked to do a stop motion tutorial about how I make things appear to drive and how I do transformation. So I'll do that at some point. A lot of stuff coming up going forward. So there you go. I think I've kind of been on here about a half hour or so. That's certainly, I think, long enough for one of these things. I don't want to belabor the issue. You know that I appreciate when you guys drop by for a visit and give me some of your time. We are, like I said, going to try and do this once a week. I can't promise it's always going to be in the same location. Might not always be the same camera. We'll see what happens going forward. Yeah, what else is there to say? Again, hit that subscribe button if you already haven't done it. Thanks for giving me some of your extremely valuable time. You know that I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the live streams.